There it is. All right. We are streaming on YouTube. Hey, everybody. This is the Gross Domesticated Podcast live. I'm your host, Pat George. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right. I just muted myself. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, Gross Domesticated Podcast live. I am Pat George. I'm your host. This is Wednesday, May 26th. Sorry, again multitasking. Ready to boot new. There we go. And all right. So, Gross Domesticated Podcast Live. I'm your host, Pat George. This is the first day we are streaming this week, so please bear with me as I am getting everything ready. I had a lot of shit to do, or a lot of shit that I was doing over the weekend that I had to catch up on some stuff for. Here we go. Let me share this. Go on now. Share to Facebook. Yes. Okay, there we go. We are live. Come join us. And pound off, baby. There we go. All right, perfect. And in the news story. There we go. Boosh. All right. Sorry, I had to share that to Facebook right quick and do all that stuff. How you guys doing? I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I know it's way past that for everybody else, but this is our first time talking since the weekend, and I just want to make sure that everybody is doing fine out there. Hope everybody had a safe weekend. I got to catch up on a little bit of comedy this weekend, which was great. I got to do some time in Danville. Shout out to Chris William for having me out there. Like I said, I had a pretty busy weekend. I wanted to train whenever I could. I wanted to do well at the stand-ups and the comedies and whatnots. And we had hacks that we were filming as well. Hey, Ian, how's it going? So I had a ton of shit that I had to catch up on Monday. And that also leads me to, I want to get to the results of the poll that I had up. So I missed Monday, and I found out that I think this is going to start being kind of a thing from now on. It's going to be a lot of Mondays. Like it's busier days, busier weekends, leading to busier weeks, which is good ultimately because hopefully then I'll be producing more content and all that other shit. Like I said, Hacks is back, which is great. All the episodes that we've done so far have been a blast. We have 3 episodes in the can. I think we're looking for either a late June, maybe early July release, because we want to make sure that we get some, and they're fucking bangers so far. So I'm really excited about those. And also, like I said, catching up on comedy and stuff like that with places opening back up. I found out this weekend I need a little bit more work on some longer sets because it's weird that my it feels like my reaction time's weird. If it's really strange how maybe I was just like kind of oblivious to it before, but I feel like there's things that I want to accomplish uh doing stand up that I like I'm not. It's weird. Like I have those like after my set. So I did a set in Danville at the Cherokee Tap Room. That was cool. Chris William was kind enough to invite me and tons of other I got to see Lemire there. Jay Simpson, Dorian showed up. Jared was there. Who else? Joey was there. I'm trying to name every Bill. I got to see Bill Russum, Bill fucking Russum. Like it was a ton of fun. Like the show was so much fun, but uh it was weird because again it was something that I came across kind of trouble with when I was doing a lot of the road winery shows and brewery shows that I was doing. And I was having a lot of it was like anytime in untraditional, let's say, I try to say untraditional comedic settings, you know what I mean? Like outdoors. Uh, I should have been more prepared for the pandemic, but I really didn't perform a ton outdoors during the pandemic. I didn't do a lot over Zoom. I didn't want to get used to those things, but in the same thing, I got so much more used to shorter sets because a lot of the comedy that I was doing was, aside from GDP, which is more, you know, it's more of a conversation, right? I'm trying to keep it loosey goosey as much as possible, but I don't want it to be. I want to make sure that I keep that muscle active, that I can be ready, because like I see a lot of my pals doing a lot of great shows and a lot more indoor shows, which I'm excited about. So I'm glad that indoor comedy is coming back. But Dom brought up a fact after I got done, or on our way back, because it wasn't a great set. Like I didn't feel terrible about it. I don't think it was like a complete. It's one of those things that it's the same way I look at jujitsu or a lot of the other things of like you're gonna learn something. I'm working on something, but I wish for for as kind as the venue was, Cherokee Tap Room, and for as like we all got paid pretty well. We all got like we had a fun time. I had a blast. But Dom afterwards when we were driving home, she goes, it's so funny. She goes, "So what do you think happened?" And I was like, what do you mean?" It kind of caught me off guard because I was like, I don't know, I just did a show. Like I don't know, what do you want? Like it I didn't know what she meant. But she's like, I've seen your set a bunch of times. You know, I see you perform all the time. She's like, you kind of seem nervous. And I was like, oh, I was like, no, I was like, I was distracted. I said, I don't think I was, I don't, I don't, I don't what I don't like kind of I don't process that as nervous. It's more of when I get distracted and I can, because it's basically not being in the moment. And it's really hard to be in the moment because in an open air setting like that, when I speak, because that's the thing is I'm not blame. I don't want to say like she said what happened, and it's like sounds like she's being like, so what do you think? Like she was like coaching, like, you know, all right, let's talk this out. What do you think? Went on there? It's kind of like, oh, I didn't think anything of that in that sense of like I was just trying to get my I'm trying to work some jokes that I wrote during the pandemic, roll them into the feature set that I had been working on and was so tight. But like doing so much of that time on the road and so many of those longer sets like that it was like holy shit. I see now how beneficial it was and how shitty kind of that. So luckily I believe it's June 8th. Hold on, let me double check. Oh Jesus. June 8th. Yes, that's a Tuesday. That's going to be it's a work night in Lancaster that Ron OG Ron, original Ron, invited me out, Ron Kane to be clear, to Lancaster to the rec room to do a longer kind of open mic set. So I most likely I will be doing obviously some material, but I want to make sure that I utilize sets like that because he was kind enough to reschedule. They had, I guess, there was trouble with the original dates that we had set for him, and he rescheduled them. Thankfully, he remembered to include me. I can only make one of them though, and I'm going to benefit from it greatly because it was one of those things that apparently, from what from Dom's coaching, she was like, "Well, you seemed seemed weird," and I was like, you know, it the setting of it was definitely strange, but if she notices it, like I'm not going to doubt it. Like it's a thing that it needs to be addressed in the sense that I need to start working that long muscle again. You know what I'm talking about? Actually, like, oh yeah, you got to plan out you can't just go up there and remember your jokes or remember the order or anything. I hit all the joke, and she's like, yeah, and she's like, I'm not saying it was bad. She's just saying like you seem to kind of be distracted or she said, I think she said nervous, and I was like, well, it could be nerves. Maybe we all know that I'm not really great with feelings, but uh oh, so Ian says he's pounding off in the chat here. Ian Strong from Strong Words. He says, I'm going to be having John on my show to promote it when they start airing. Nice. Cool. But yeah, there's he's talking about hacks. But yeah, there's the outdoor setting is still my Achilles heel in performing, but I think I've just learned to become kind of numb to it. Like I've kind of become like one of those things where she goes, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "It was an outdoor show. I'm not saying it's impossible to do well. I'm just saying it's not likely that I'll do well. So book me on your outdoor show. But no, like let's look. We're all vaccinated. Let's get back inside, huh? I did a winery like a couple weeks earlier, fucking crushed it because it was indoors. All right, let's go back inside. Uh, no, I just basically, and also just working on like being a better, more consistent performer as far as like the show. I'm trying not to be too late. Best I could do today. I was pretty good today. Not too bad. Less than 10 minutes late. I'll take that as a win, because baby steps are important in anything that I do. So shout out to the Cherokee Tap Room in Danville. That was awesome. Also, Dom pointed out this, and I like this too. We drove out to Danville for that show. That was about like an hour and a half or so, uh, and then to Top Golf the next day to shoot some hacks, and that was both of those things. Both things were a couple of so to step back a little bit. A couple of our life goals have been like we've had lanes. We got lanes that we can go down. All of them include both of us. All of them include the cats. Surprisingly enough, keep that in mind as I explain these. Uh, City living, moving out to a major metropolitan city of some sort in New York, your Philadelphia's, maybe New Jersey. We don't know. We're looking into moving out to some of those places. Also, renting out a bus, not renting. Sorry, buying like a RV style or one of those sprinter things that are like finished, and having that kind of like not an RV necessarily, but something similar to an RV. Like I think you guys have seen those, like the ones that like the camper homes, but like finished. Like we don't want to do it ourselves. I don't want to do it. She may or may not want to do it, but I definitely do not want to have to remod. Well, actually, you know what? That might be a happy alternative. She's been watching a lot of those uh remodel shows, like flipping, we buy a house and you have a budget of this much, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But we don't have a budget. We don't have so maybe we can just get a van. We'll live out of a van. But that's an option of kind of like buying a sprinter or RV and just kind of traveling, doing a lot of that. What was the other one? I can't remember. That was going to be when I was doing a lot more work on the road and stuff like that. So implementing that, like, oh, we're traveling, I'm doing more shows, and then also like and getting there was a couple like we started to really look into it, actually look into like, all right, so practically, how can we do this? Practically, can we have 1 to 2 cats in an RV at all times, like if we're living there, or going to campsites, doing a lot of that stuff, like stopping off at campsites and staying there, or um hotels, or stuff like that, rental places, gyms, like getting a gym membership and going to Planet Fitness and stuff for showers. So obviously we want to have as much of a contained, for me it's comfort. I need to know that I can at least closely mimic or and almost simulate a home environment. Comfortable, nice, soft, comfortable bed. Really, it's bed comfort. Sitting comfort, I guess, is kind of whatever. I guess, I mean, have a nice chair or a couch in there, and then like being able to poop and pee there. I mean, that's important. I don't want to always have to stop at a gas station or always shit at a hotel or something. Ian saying I could be misquoting him, but I think Charles thinks you're a psychopath if you eat roast beef in an RV. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he says anything about that in an RV, but he does say that about Arby's. There's a What was the other thing? I think there was a the only other thing was like that one. Actually, those were really the two options: was major metro or buying a house out here was a possibility, but I just like, to me in a way, unless it's true ownership. So I mean, I guess you could own a house fully, but how it's been explained to me, and I think how we would have to go about it would be we would never ever ever own that house. It would always be, you know, it's somebody else. We're making a payment to somebody for something at that point. But so that was always why I was drawn to, if we're maybe okay, so if we're going to buy a place, let's try to buy a place in a let's travel a bit first, and then we'll find a place that we like to plant roots. Um because I don't want to, oh, you can resell it. And then what are you doing? If I'm buying a house, I want it to be a home. But if we buy a like one of those RV Sprinter things, way more likely that we'll be able to actually pay that off and own it fully. Yes, we have to insure it, fill it with gas. We'll always be paying something for it to be maintained, gas, oil changes, maintenance on the other things. I know that that's never, we'll be spending money on it, but ownership, true ownership, it's ours. We can take it and just go wherever the fuck we want. That's really ideal to me. But as far as like if we want to start a family, like with humans, not just the cats, it's hard enough to figure it out with the cats. I think it would actually be easier if we had a human, because that way, you can take those in places a lot more than you can animals. So you get those are a lot more allowed. Those are allowed into establishments. I got kicked out of a Taco Bell once because I snuck a cat in my hoodie. So it's not, I understand the rules. I just break them. That's all I care. That's all I care about. It's my little boy Zeke. Raised him from a little baby. Bottle fed that baby kitty. Wiped his little butt myself. Raised him from a kitten. Probably too soon to be taken away from his mom. That's my bad. But, and he used to ride around with me in the car in my hoodie, like in my pocket, either in the pocket of my hoodie or in like the inside, like, and I would zip him up. And my mom and me went into a Taco Bell once. And we were having some food, and I was sneaking him some quesadilla. I even actually, we ordered our food at the counter and then sat down. And I believe it was the girl at the front counter that took our order, that acknowledged and thought it was adorable that I had a little kitty cat in my hoodie. But then later on, I guess the manager either caught wind of it or saw me sneaking my cat some quesadilla, and they kicked us out. But at that time, we are done. My mom and I had finished our meal, so we were happy to leave. So I guess we didn't really get kicked out of a Taco Bell as much as we finished our meal and walked out of a Taco Bell after eating a meal with a cat in my hoodie. He was a cute kitty cat, a skinny gray kitty cat. Not as much like Stanley, more of a solid gray, very pretty kitty cat. Always very skinny. But Don brought up the fact, so that's why. So long story, all the way to walk back to the fact that Dom brought up the fact that how much she missed like taking longer drives with me. She doesn't like it. She likes the good like 2-3 hour drive maybe. She doesn't like a 7 to 16 hour drive. She doesn't love those as much. She likes a nice road trip, but like condensed more. She can bear more for sure. She can definitely enjoy more of a more of a well, she sleeps. I can't she's not a nerve she's not as much of a nervous, right? As much as shit For as much shit as I give her for like when she grips the oh shit bar, she like grabs the door handle when I turn or something, or I'm driving. I'm like, come on. You got to get over yourself. She can sleep when I'm driving, but she enjoys driving, just kind of talking, joking, recorded a proper Ebonics this weekend, recorded a brand new Falls Count Anywhere, which is out now on the network and the down here. If you want to like the video, you want to share the video, it's all down here. If you want to check out Falls Count Anywhere, you can click the little baby mermaid down there. Make sure you subscribe. Um, that came out. What else? Oh, Wes was on that one. That was pretty fun. Also, proper Ebonics, like I said, that'll be out this week, hopefully. And then oh yeah, and then so we hung out. I don't want to give away the guests, but I don't know if I'm sure he has. I don't know. Either way, we had a great time with Andy. Lemaire, Jay Simpson, May Chasm. My wife was there as well. The dickhead at Top Golf. Not a, he. Look, he wasn't a dickhead, but I want it to be clear that if you're it was a classic. Uh, I don't even want to say nerd or dork. I don't know exactly, but he kind of had the energy of the kid who reminds the teacher to assign homework. He kind of had that feeling, but I know he's a manager of Top Golf, or the current manager, standing manager. I don't know what the fuck he was. And during a pandemic. I understand that apparently also New Jersey is I found out after the fact from listening to a couple podcasts, like apparently, like from people living in New Jersey, they're they're realizing the fact that like everything else around them is the Knicks have like a full crowd at their I heard at their game or whatever for the playoffs. They had everything else is opening up around them, but for some reason outdoor Top Golf has, the plastic sheeting up on the sides. We've done an episode at this Top Golf during the pandemic when it was worse, when nobody was vaccinated. And I feel like it wasn't as it didn't feel as stringent, but we also had a smaller party. So that was a definite thing. But we had one more person in our party. And the limit was, and so we were asking them at the thing. We were doing the classic thing you do. I remember it actually brought me back to when going to punk shows and stuff like that, when you kind of just finagle your way of like, come on, yeah, I'm not old enough, but like, who gives a shit, really? Like, I'm very mature for my age. You should just let me in. You know me. And like that's the thing. It was a lot of times when I would go to shows, and the doorman, shout out to the doorman Mike as well from State Theater, who passed away, who was the coolest dude to always deny me access to shows that I was not able to get into. Every once in a while, every once in a while, I'll just be standing there and be like, come on, come on. And he'd go, all right, go ahead. Like he would just like nod, and I could just sneak in. I just go in. I'm in the show. Not because I'm not. It was either if I didn't have money to pay for it, or if I wasn't old enough. He very rarely would he let me not let me in if I wasn't old enough. But it reminded me of that kind of like, look, it's one more person. Most of us, let's say, most of us are, or half of us are vaccinated, or whatever. They said, well, if you want, you can have this person in the common area, and you can have all these other people. All right, whatever. Who's gonna really monitor that? Turns out this fucking dickhead. The funniest thing was the fact that when Dom and I pulled into the parking lot originally, we parked behind this car, and I made fun of this car for having a sticker. It said something like Jarvis. I think it was Jarvis is my co-pilot. And she goes, "Who the fuck is Jarvis? Like, what's Jarvis?" And I was like, "I think isn't that the robot from Iron Man? I think that's his sidekick. So this guy's Iron Man." And we are like, "What a fucking dork, right?" We go in, and after the lady at the front podium thing says, "You can only have 6 people at your outdoor golfing section. You can have a 7th person hang out at the common area and like tag out. So like if the person wants to go leave the little cubby, you can walk over to the common area and hang out at a table, and then the other person can come back over and have some fun for their turn." So it kind of had bowling what is it, bowling alley vibes. Kind of felt like that. I remember that a lot. Like you would bowl your turn, and then you would leave. You would go to the arcade, or you walk around, or you'd stand and you talk up at the little thing. So, but also, then it's kind of like, well, so if we're here, it's okay, but not here. Do I have to wear a mask? Not wear a mask? So they were still up in the air. I know everything is kind of up in the air right now, but Top Golf was weirdly stringent about it. They're weird about it. Also, yeah, we walked into a Chipotle in New Jersey, and we opened the door, walked into a Chipotle, and started walking up to the counter. And one of the people, I guess, that worked there was sitting at one of the tables. There was another person that didn't look like they worked there sitting at another table eating. And and the guy's like, he's like going to put on his mask as he's like telling us, oh, we're online only orders. And I was like, what? And somebody who I've worked at a Starbucks during this time. I've know that it's strange when you have to explain to somebody like, yeah, this is, but not when people are fucking vaccinated, dude. Like read a newspaper, bro. I understand that nobody really buys the CDC opening back up, and I joked about that a little bit this weekend, like with I was like, I think what it is they're just saying like I don't understand why people aren't consistent with listening to the CDC. Before, during the beginning of the pandemic, they were saying, you know, listen to CDC's orders. This is what it. Okay, cool. Well, then when the CDC starts saying like, okay, well, you don't have to wear your mask anymore, they're like, I don't believe the CDC anymore. Like, why'd you believe them all the way up until this point? Just trust the fact that either they're saying enough of us have the vaccine that you can risk it, or they're just saying just die. Just do it. The better choice is just, haven't you look, we've all lived long enough. This is enough. Enough with all this shit. Just die. Maybe they're just saying now, go ahead. Go get COVID and just because it's not it's whatever. Like, who cares? But like, to go into a Chipotle where people are eating at tables inside, but you can't order inside. I don't understand that. So either way, New Jersey, I can vouch for all of those other people that are saying New Jersey seems to be a little behind with opening back up, and that's fine. Whatever. If you're not comfortable with it, but Top Golf and Chipotle were pretty tight assed about it, because we're sitting there ordering drinks, uh, spending money, already playing a game, already signed up. You have to fucking give your number. I hate that shit at Top Golf. But and the guy comes over after everybody orders and says like, "Hey, so how many people do you have in your party here?" Like, one, two. Is this not okay? We kind of played dumb. Hey, look, I I honestly didn't know where the common area was. I thought maybe if I just kind of, because I'm going to be filming, I'm not even sitting down. I thought maybe if we didn't put enough people on the screen, or if we didn't have enough people ordering in the party, maybe they wouldn't catch it. They caught it. Fucking Jarvis's friend caught it. So so we're like, all right, well, let's just shoot. We'll just get some stuff outside. We'll shoot some stuff outside. We'll figure something out, and we'll either alternate or whatever. So at the end of the day, we figured it out to where we were having people alternate, because we did have people there that weren't actually filming for the show. So it was okay to have some people away from the stall for a little bit. Uh, but it was so strange. It was just whatever. At the end of the day, we're cashing out. I mean, and we dropped a hefty chunk. Okay, that we were having a good time. We had a big party, and this is where Pat. This is where this is not genuine Pat. This is genuine Pat Karen here. This is Pat as Karen, because we spent money at your establishment, sir. We did all this stuff. Come over, and he's like, "Hey, thanks again for being cool earlier. We appreciate it." And because then at that time, some of the people in the party had left. We had everybody sitting at the table. All is well, whatever, man. Hey, we know that's not you. It's you're getting your balls fucking raked over the coals if this doesn't happen. I get it. Whatever, man. We don't want you guys getting shut down. We don't. Okay. And he's like, "Oh, all right. So do you want me to just run the card?" And Jay, who was the person who had opened the whole thing, said like, he's like, I didn't give him a card. And the guy looked through the receipt, and he's like, oh, oh, well, oh. And he's like, it's all right. Well, can we just pay cash? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So we all kind of split it up. We did whatever. And he's like, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Because obviously that could have been just us saying like, well, fuck it, we'll just leave. You know what I mean? Like, here, take this card. Just give him fucking some expired card, which I'm sure I have somewhere in my just give him my insurance card or whatever. Walk away and then just leave, or just say like, oh, we'll pay you in a little bit. Like they definitely dodged a bullet, because obviously if there's nothing to hold us accountable. We could have just fucking all headed to the common area and just fucking left, but we didn't, because we're honorable people. But the time was running out. We didn't have a ton of time left. I understand. Hey, look, it's probably a dick move, but we hadn't used up all of our turns, and I was trying to get as many balls to come out of the machine before the time was up, so I could get my fucking money's worth. I don't know. It's pretty expensive there. Shooting the balls or whatever, doing that. There is a yellow line right at the beginning, or right at the edge of the little T thing, right? And there was like a ball there. I just squatted down, grabbed that little ball. Jarvis's co-pilot comes over and says, "Oh, you can't do that. Can't do that. You can't reach behind the look. It's just a safety thing and blah blah blah." So we have been nothing but cool, dude. And not only that, but also I said, I thought the common area was like the table ends here, and then there's this walkway here. I thought this was like the common area because that's where everybody's walking, common. And they said as long as somebody's out in this area, it should be okay. And he's like, no, the common area is actually down there. It's a seating area down there. Your stall is actually all the way to the wall, so this is all considered one section. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're explaining to me how much further it is back here, but it definitely ends right here. Like, right. It's like, I mean, like this is the line. It's right here. And the ball was like here. It was like it not just touching the line. So it was very satisfying to, I mean, it was satisfying to be right and to be able to leave Top Golf ultimately, because that guy works there and that's where he gains all of his power. But I'm gonna go there every single time. I don't give a shit. Just next time, have a party of 6. Just that, first of all, and don't go early. I feel like we've always had pretty bad luck going like super early in the afternoon. It's hot. It's way too hot. It's way too many people there. There's a ton of fucking people there too. Outside, hey, look, I'm not even. It's so weird to be like there. I feel like there's no more clear cut like anti-mask guys or like anti-vax or I'm pro. Just like fucking be cool, guys. Like understand that I'm not even. I didn't fucking touch any alcohol. I'm not fucked up. I'm reaching over my own stall. This is my fucking stall. It's right there. Let me get that ball. If one just rolls right there, I'm out that ball completely. $40 an hour. God damn it. Top Golf is expensive as fuck, but you know what? It's worth it. So yeah, it was, aside from all the drama from Jarvis's friend, it was a lot of fun. And to be honest, even shitty tight ass manager experience wise, it wasn't that bad. There was some funny thing. There's a funny instance where Lemaire at some point was like, "Hey man, do you wanna go over there?" And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, pal. I think that's I think we're all outside, which is good, but also like we're not that far. That's not that far away from the crowd, and I don't know these people. That was always my thing. Anytime we would do the brewery or winery comedy shows out in, we're in the boonies. And that's where we were for this. It feels like these are country folk. So I don't know their stance on, even though we're all cool with it and the rest of civilization is legalizing it and everything. A lot of times people can be kind of tight-assed about that. And I also don't know if any of these people are cops. So, or even the owners of the establishment, because like again, this was a show that they invited us. So I'm trying to be not so much of a fucking dork, but I'm also trying to be like, hey man, why don't we? And he's like, oh look, here's the kitchen staff. They'll know if it's cool or not. They're cool with this. And he's like, oh, maybe you want to go around the building, go over that side. And Lemaire, it feels like almost immediately, Lemaire starts smoking, and that almost that same guy comes around and he's like, hey, you can smell that everywhere. And I was like, that's what I'm fucking talking about, buddy. Like it's you city folk are out there, you can cheap it up on the streets and blow it in a cop's face and laugh. Out here, I was more scared for Lemaire than I think Lemaire was nervous about Lemaire. And I don't know what that says about society, but it's confusing. Nobody can be pro or anti-mask or vax. I don't know if I should be. Should I still judge people for wearing masks or not? I think we should all. I think we're all going back to minding our own business, which is nice. But it's also a little. It's kind of nice to know that I trust. This is. I guess I'll put a pin in this, like to say, I I feel like the CDC thing in general, the mask thing. I honestly kind of feel like it is them saying it's okay to die. Like it's okay to just or to get it or to not wear a mask, to take the risk again. I think that's what they're saying. I don't think they're saying that because people kind of do the same thing that they were doing with the restaurant thing where they're like, "Oh, so if I'm sitting at a table, I can't get COVID." No. It's just about this is the risk you're allowed to take right now. And I think that's what the mask mandate thing is now. Is them saying, okay, you can go back to taking the risk of being in large groups or being out there or doing whatever, being inside with people without a mask. Or if enough people have the vaccine, which gives the percentage of them getting it lowers that percentage, but also they could still get it. There, you know what I mean? Like to explain it all longhand would take too much. But if I'm reading this right, if I'm trusting the CDC, I'm trusting the fact that they're saying it's okay to take the risk and to go out there without your mask again, which is cool. Which I trust that, but it's not saying that COVID's not dangerous. It's not saying that there's not variants. It's just saying that enough people, percentage wise, are less likely to affect the whole now, so we can all go back to close to normal again. So it's so great weekend. Reconnecting with some pals that I haven't seen in a long fucking time. Some people I haven't seen in a long time. I hadn't seen Andy. I felt like forever, and really we didn't get to connect too much. We actually didn't even do the show on Sunday. I got back. I went from leaving New Jersey and talking and John was nice enough to invite us over to have a meal. But I was like, no, I gotta try to get back because Andy didn't say anything about canceling. What about with Pat and Andy? Which we were supposed to be doing our top 5 songs that make you feel, but or give you all the feels. I think that's how he put it. And I was like, so I want to make sure to try to get back in time. Had to stop at Wawa because we were in the area. Stopped at Wawa. Didn't get back until 7:30. But by the time we actually got back, I'd completely forgot to even to check. I was like, I got back and I was just like, oh, got back. Good. Long fucking day, tired as fuck. Skipped jujitsu the next day. I was sore from like squatting, standing up, setting up a shot, walking over this way. Just I stood the whole time. I don't think I sat down pretty much the whole time for that entire hacks episode because I never actually wanted to be the 7th person. Or what did he say? 7 heartbeats. What he considers it 7 heartbeats, which is the weirdest thing because we joked about it because May is pregnant. And we joked about the fact that oh well, technically it's actually 8 people because she's got somebody. He's like, well, let me just say 7 heartbeats. And I'm like, isn't it kind of like famous? Isn't like one of the famous baby tropes where they put the thing over the belly and then it says and then it has the heartbeat? Like, don't babies have fucking heartbeats pretty early on? so so if he says, oh, if it's 6 heartbeats, we need 6 heartbeats at the stall. Well, that's what are you fucking talking about? It's such a it was that's why like I said, the guy wasn't like the worst dickhead manager at Top Golf. I'm never gonna let this go. He was a real life thumb, like just like a shitter, like just shit on your fucking point. It really he really seemed like a pain in the ass. He would like probably I don't want to make judgments on him. It's just rude. But it's the weird thing of him going like, oh, actually 7 heartbeats would be too much. Well, like she has a heartbeat. What are you talking about? You fucking idiot. But either way, um, 7 heartbeats. Um, so it's just nice to get back to it and to be able to take those risks again, kind of thing. And in the and yeah, it sounds silly to to sum up a worldwide pandemic that's still happening. It's still crazy, and apparently in Brazil and India and shit like that. And it's kind of it to sum it up and say like, oh, I missed hugging my buddies, but I did. I missed hugging. I missed hugging Andy and Lemaire and hanging out with these guys. Seeing Jay again was great. It's one of those things that like I can't John, like being able to like hang out with John again. We hung out a little bit during the pandemic also, but you kind of go back into that isolation, and especially up here in the up north, it must. I do understand why more of the southern areas. I almost said territories. I don't know. I don't know why I said it like that, but the southern states and stuff like that are more will or like like come on man, like we're not shutting shit down because they didn't have a winter. Like we had kind of an excuse. We all kind of savored that. All right, well it's cold as fuck outside. We can just kind of lock ourselves in. It does get tiresome, and it did get it definitely got taxing on us, but it's nice to be reintroducing ourselves back into everything. So and back to driving, recording, hacks, doing live comedy, all that shit. Update on oh, also hold on a second, I forgot about this. Real quick, gets to feature a new song that I have here because we have a message. It's message time, and here we go. This is a message song. All right, so today's message. Again, don't forget you can call or text. You can leave a voicemail anytime you want. You can do that at 717-559-2971. That's 717-559-2971. You can call the show or you can text the show. So today's message is from, I didn't even look at it. Oh, well, you know what? David's Bridal. Your David's Bridal appointment is set for Sunday, May 30th, 2021, at 3 p.m. in Hamburg. I don't know if that's, I don't know where that is. The confirmation number is, please read our safety guidelines. Click there and reply stop. So, congratulations to whoever that is. I probably will respond to this a little bit later to let them know. I'm assuming whoever it is knows that their appointment is that day because they probably just made it. So, congratulations to whoever that is. And again, don't forget you can call the show live either every, oh, I got to update you guys on the schedule. Every Wednesday or Friday. That's the final vote. I had the vote on Instagram at Baby Mermaid Productions because of all of these busy things, being back to comedy, being back to hacks, being back to producing all these other shows and stuff like that. I wanted to still do GDP live, but I wanted to find out from the peeps, from the people who actually, the OG peeps too, the IG peeps, the OG IG peeps, which days would be best for you guys. What days do you guys prefer? So after actually it was pretty close too. It was I had Monday, what was it, Monday and Friday. See, it was an early lead. Wednesday to Friday was a close second for a while, and then out of nowhere, I think it was Monday and Wednesday was coming up there, but it ended up Wednesdays and Fridays from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. And you know what? I'll probably throw another stream day in there when I have a free day. So if I have a free weekend or something like that, or if Dom's off on a day and she's like, "Hey, you want to do a show?" We may just throw a stream in there every once in a while. So surprise streams may be in effect every once in a while, but our weekly schedule, the one that I feel I can stay the most consistent with, and the one that you guys voted on personally, Wednesdays and Friday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. And you know what? I was pretty fucking close. So I'm not even saying ish today. 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. right here on YouTube. Baby Mermaid Productions is live every Monday or every Wednesday and Friday. I almost did it again. I got to get out of that habit. But and also you can catch the episodes on audio only anywhere you get your podcast. So don't forget 717-559-2971, and we'll get it cracking. Speaking of cracking, there is a no, not a Kraken, but fryer. We got our air fryer. So Karen, this was a while back, probably a month or so back, maybe even longer. Uh, Karen was like just shooting off the mouth, pounding off crazy about how much she loves her air fryer. Air fryer is great, and Dom was talking about, because Dom likes every. I'm not even. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating. I feel like you could gift her any kitchen gadget and she would love it. She may not use it more than once, but she will probably use it at least once, and she will genuinely be excited about it. So like the same thing I got, like if she's a person that if you get her anything, that's a better way to put it. If you get her any cooking implement or baking implement or anything like that, she will be able to use it successfully. She may not always enjoy it, but she will always at least use it once. And I got her, like, I've gotten her those spring. I don't even know what most of the shit is. I'm like, I don't even know. One of the things I got her was for cheesecake. It's like a thing to make, like, it's the spring form. Is that right? Spring form, where it's like it goes around like that, and there's a bottom thing, and like, and I was like, oh, that's how they make cheesecake. That makes a lot of sense now. You cook it, you bake it in like water. It's fucking weird. You almost boil it. So this thing, right? This Ninja air fryer. We haven't had a microwave at this new house, or at this place that we've lived in for since we moved into Pennsylvania, to up north. We have not had a microwave oven at all. So it's been strictly either stove or stovetop or oven, or crock pot every once in a while maybe, but even that, our like every crock pot we've ever had has kind of been shit. And I honestly, I don't necessarily need the best crock pot. I don't really care about a lot of stuff. I don't utilize it probably enough. I think, again, that's the thing that she's into. I don't like fucking cooking. So when she said she really wants an air fryer, I wanted to get one as best of a deal as possible, as well as it being the best bargain as possible. So the Ninja air fryer, something or other thing we saw at Costco, I saw a an ad for it on the flyer, which I'm wise to now. I hate this shit. Giant does it all the time too, where they do a thing where they put out a flyer and it says, uh, like, oh, this is these are the deals or whatever, and you're like, oh, awesome, cool. I'll go to the Giant and I'll get those deals, and then it says, no, this starts next week, stupid. And I was like, oh, that makes sense that they're advertising it for next week, but I thought it'd be like, hey, these are the active deals happening right now. Nah. Costco does that shit all the time too, where Costco will say, this is what's happening in like 2 weeks. I fucking put a note, god damn it, for this one, because that air fryer thing was like $30 off or some shit it was going to be even cheaper than normal at Costco. So I made a note and remembered on my way to Philly, on the way to Manny's, Philly's Funniest. I fucking was like, oh shit, that deal starts either today or started already this week or something. It was like whatever, it was on the 19th. So I asked her, boom, got it to the house. This thing goddamn does everything. But it's basically, like I said, kind of just an adult easy bake oven. It gives you whole little recipes with it. I didn't know you could make. So the most interesting thing to it, we've done fried shrimp was the first thing we did in it, which was pretty good. I thought those was pretty good. Next thing we did was pork ribs. Now there you go. She's using the pressure cooker. She's using the air fryer. This thing steams. This thing fucking what's the other thing it does? Steams, dehydrates. Like the button display on this thing is ridiculous. But the weirdest thing, and I still don't understand this, and I don't know if I ever want to do this, because this was brought up to me by a buddy of mine this morning. It has a yogurt button. I don't know why or how. Like you can just press a yogurt. Like what does that do? Does that churn it? Because then I was like, can you make ice cream? Is it frozen yogurt or is it just yogurt? Does it so I had a lot of questions. I'm surprised Karen's not here today. I was really hoping that I might be able to pick her brain about that. She will be my education on anything from now for the yogurt thing. I mean, Jesus Christ. But if I'm looking for new gifts for Dominique or anything like that, I'll probably be hitting Karen up because she fucking digs it. She loves it. We made broccoli in it, pork, shrimp, all this other shit. So I just don't understand where the yogurt comes in. And also, how does the yogurt not end up being like, I mean, you can clean it, but it's not gonna taste at all like pork or shrimp, this yogurt. I'm so intrigued by the yogurt thing, but I so desperately don't want to ruin my air fryer slash pressure cooker slash steamer slash dehydrator slash get this sous vide thingy, which is basically just boiling. Again, air fryer equals easy bake oven or microwave. uh, and the sous vide just boiling. You're just boiling it in a bag. But those those two things alone are pretty cool. So we got that and a new coffee maker, new kitchen gadgets, and she is just so excited, which is nice because also I just so much hate having to do a like to make a recipe or to cook or anything. If it's easier for her and it doesn't make the house hot or whatever, any of that bullshit, fine, perfect. Let's do it. Let's make every goddamn meal in that thing. I want to make some chicken wings. I told her let's make some dumplings or wontons or anything like that if we can. I'm down for it. All cultures, everything. Raviolis. I don't know if that's a thing we can do. Let's do it. Fried raviolis, fried broccoli. Well, we didn't bread it, but oh man, that air fryer. It's it's really interesting to know that if it's so quiet and so the pressure cooker thing was a little intimidating. I will say that there's a whole different lid. There's a whole like I've heard she keeps telling me how dangerous pressure cookers are and how much she wants to put a pressure cooker in her house. So I get nervous about that sometimes, but it honestly it wasn't. It was I don't want to like. It's been like 2 days, but it's still one of those things that like man, it's fucking. I definitely see the appeal of why people are losing their shit over it. But it's essentially like I said, it's kind of a high end microwave boily yogurt maker thing. Yogurt thing. She never mentioned yogurt when she was talking about this thing. So I had a lot of questions about the yogurt the yogurt setting on the Ninja air fryer. So a couple of stories that I had set for Monday that I want to just catch up on before the end of the show. So this is an interesting thing. It wasn't like there was cops. All right, so what was it? Oh yeah, the other thing. This was actually originally going. This was to pair with the last story we did the last time Dom was on. I think it was Friday, where we talked about the cop who tested the kid's ashes, and the guy got pulled over, and he there was like, hey, could you check the car? Or can we check the car? He said, yeah, go for it. I don't have anything in there. I got some weed, but that's about it. And they said, yeah, we found weed. And we also found this. We didn't know what it was. And it tested positive for meth, which I'm still confused about. But we had that story. And this was something, this was like, well, don't worry, guys. It gets worse. Cops are definitely worse. Uh, it always gets worse. Let's just say, like, you can say, how dare you got this guy got pulled over. Was it profiling? I don't think so. I think he was technically leaving an area where there was a crime that just happened in a fast way. So maybe it drew attention to him. I don't, hey, who knows? But if anything, this is from ABC News, .go.com. 14 bodies at home of ex-cop in El Salvador murder case. Prosecutors in El Salvador say 14 bodies have now been found at the home of former police officer who was arrested this month for murdering 2 women. So this is San Salvador, El Salvador. 14 bodies have now been found at the home of former police officer who was arrested this month for murdering 2 women. I don't know if he was former yet at the time of the murder, but he maybe it was just maybe he became former after he was arrested. Let's read on. Authorities have said the case revealed the existence of a murdering ring that may have operated for a decade, and there have been speculation in local media that it could have killed as many as 20 people. Wow, he's got 14 of them. So okay, so maybe he's not being necessarily he's not being blamed for killing them. He's just got them there. Maybe that's it. Murdering. Okay, so authorities have said two women Salvadorian prosecutors said Thursday. So the former officer Hugo Osario Chavez was detained and charged earlier this month for in the killing of a 57-year-old woman and her 26-year-old daughter. Osario Chavez, 51, who had previously been investigated for sex crimes, confessed to killing the two. After his arrest, a search was launched of his home in the eastern town of Chalchuapa. Oh man, I'm trying not to be insensitive. I'm literally just trying to read a word, and that's very difficult for me. Chalchuapa. The search turned up 8 pits that held 14 bodies, some of which may have been buried as long as 2 years ago. Prosecutors said the total of the bodies recovered at the home increased by four over the past week. Justice Minister Gustavo Villatoro, said the skeletal remains will be reassembled and subjected to DNA testing to determine the identities. He said the depth of the pits were the remain. Wait, hold on. Where the remains were found suggests more than one person was involved in burying them. Interesting. So he doubts this man's digging skills, but does not doubt the fact that. So it's just found at this house. I want to know. So he's wanted for sex crimes already. Was that when he was a former cop? I would assume he lost his job maybe then, or was it even before that? Based on the information in the case, I'm like dying to know. Like, okay, he's a cop. He's got 14 bodies under his thing. When did he lose his job though? How many bodies until they were like, all right, 7, Frank. Wait, no, Carlos, what's his name? No, Hugo. Hugo, if we find an 8th body, that's it. That's the line. That's it, pal. You got the sex crimes. You got 7 bodies under here. Did you dig this pit with somebody? There's no way you could have done this by yourself, Hugo. Based on the information in the case, prosecutors have issued an arrest warrant. Have issued arrest warrants for 10 other suspects. Okay, who may have acted as accomplices in 14 killings, including the murders of 9 women. All right. So, oh no, I was gonna say so. The math would be 9 women, 5 guys. Okay, cool. The prosecutor's office said earlier the victims may include girls aged 9, 7, and 2. Yeesh. So it's not all kids. So it's not men and women. It's women and then also some children. Yikes. The country's director of police, Mauricio Arazio Chicas, said that Osario Chavez was fired from the force in 2005. We got our answer. There it is. And may have been killing people for a decade. Wonderful. He told us that he found victims on social media and sought them out, luring them with the American dream. Ariaza Chicas said this psychopath has has been detained, and I believe that 99% of the people who assisted him have been detained. Said it just says said period said period. Oh man, that's awesome. So that okay, that last part was definitely not me, but a lot of those mistakes in reading that was definitely me. So for he had been killing for a decade. So there was a good amount of time there where he was just nice, relaxed, polite, retired police officer Hugo Chavez. Wait, Hugo, what was his name again? God damn it, I keep forgetting it. Hugo Osario Chavez. He was until a couple years later, then out of nowhere, man just goes crazy, loses his mind, and starts killing people. I don't know, man. But I think if you're, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Like if he had, but luring, I don't understand. Like what? Go into more detail. What the fuck are you talking about? How did you lure them into your for the American dream? I don't understand that. How are you using the American dream in El Salvador? Is it the El Salvadorian dream? Or was he saying like was this like a 90-day fiance thing? I'm so much more interested in the fact of like who the fuck is this guy, and as opposed to like okay, you found 14 bodies. Are you saying that he killed 14 of like I guess you can't really say that we're just found 14 bodies. I guess you can't have 14 bodies under your house that have been killed within the past when did he buy the house? I mean, there's a lot of factors here. Now I just sound like his prosecutor, or not his prosecutor, but his public defender. But I'm not looking to get the guy out of jail or anything. But does it work the same way in El Salvador with cops? So this is so I'm gonna look up Hugo Osario Chavez. Yeah, there it is. News. Let's look up for any because that was going to be Monday's story. So this is 2 days ago, 5 days ago, 1 day ago. Woman cries brought to police to home. Oh boy, women's cries brought police to home of ex policeman. Jesus Christ, that's very hard to read. I'm a dumb man. I'm a real dumb guy. It's like reading out loud is hard enough. This is interesting. No, I wanted to know more really about the actual guy, but it's just about his murders. Murders and rape. Jesus Christ. How long was he a cop? That's pretty scary, right? I'm not saying look, hey, I'm just saying 14 fucking bodies. That's a little crazy to me. So that was something that the headline piqued my interest. That okay, so this cop, it was trying to give a little bit of perspective of the fact that like, hey, this was a big ass blunder. I'm sure either this particular cop was out for accusing, because I honestly cannot understand how remains would test positive for meth or just maybe test inconclusive. I would assume more inconclusive than anything else, um but it definitely gets down to a point where like, hey, this cop was in this sex and murder ring. He was sex and murder ring. It's hard to say murder ring and not okay. There we go. So, uh, the other article that I had for Monday has and not related at all, but I feel like it's a direct challenge. This is something that I've heard talked about on a couple shows, but they don't really get into the detail of it too much, I don't think. And this is from mentalfloss.com. And this is, could you beat a grizzly bear in a fight? Some people think they can. This is taken directly out of the performances, live or otherwise, of Pat vs. Animal that I truly love. I love the fact of like really trying to figure out. I like that these talks are happening. I want more people to actually assume and try to not assume, but plan on how you would do it. You don't have to assume that you would beat a bear in a fight, but plan for it. Bet on yourself. You know what I mean? So since many since many animals never cross, and by the way, both of these articles are going to be in the description of the episode after the fact. So if you want to read them for yourself, because I do a shit job of doing this, but if you want to read them legibly yourself, you're more than welcome to. The links will be there, as well as the links for the audio only feed. You can subscribe there, as well as the Slappy Boppers. You can check out that playlist. Manny's working on an iTunes version of it. So if you don't have Spotify, there's going to be a version of that for you, as well as the wish list, everything you want. If you want to support the show, it's all there. Please do. Please tell your friends. So since many animals never cross paths in the wild, and pitting them against each other for sport is generally frowned upon, deciding which ones would win in a fight mainly happens in a hypothetical realm. But in that realm, according to a recent survey by data company YouGov, people think elephants are the top dog, which plays into my theory. This is a theory that I don't think anybody will ever. I don't think you're ever going to see an article on this. All animals are categories fall into a category either as cat or dog. An elephant, I would think more of a cat than a dog, in my opinion, because they're so finicky and smart. Dogs are smart too, but cats are definitely smarter. Researchers presented participants with a series of animal face-offs and asked them to choose a winner for each. Elephants won 74% of the time, eking by wait. I'm assuming it's supposed to be eking by rhinos, by less than a percentage point, and outperforming grizzly bears, tigers, hippopotamuses, and lions by small margins too. Based on the breakdown, Komodo dragons are better warriors than kangaroos. Alligators metaphorically hit harder than cheetahs, and a honey badger has a better chance of beating a horse than the other way around. Unarmed humans, meanwhile, one that fights just 17% of the time, putting us in second to last place, far behind ostriches, 28%, and slightly ahead of geese, 14%. This is very interesting, guys. So who would win in a fight against most animals? So the list goes, I guess it would be, so they're tied, so technically on the list, but I guess the slight percentage point goes to elephants, but it's elephants, rhinos, grizzly bears, tigers, hippopotamus, lion, crocodiles, alligators. So why did crocodiles get more? They're 2% more. Crocodile is 67% and alligator is 65%. And also, this is just what people think. So I do get that. I don't know how many animal experts they have on this, but we gotta put this to the test. Willing animals and or retired animals, maybe older animals. We use it more like kind of like a Bellator. It's for young upstart animals that are coming up, and or retired animals, that maybe are not let's say not still fit to compete, but like maybe not to compete at the highest level anymore. Polar bear is after a gorilla. Oh no, they're tied, 64%. Then a jaguar at 62. A leopard comes in after that, then panther, then cheetah, then an anaconda. I feel like an anaconda could definitely kill a lion. And a crocodile. I don't know about this, guys. But I am definitely not. So right here, this is the funniest thing. Unarmed human is 17%. A goose is 14%. Who is a goose beating? Why isn't the last animal on here 0%? Or I guess a goose would beat some of these. What is a goose beating? There's no chance. Oh man, it's not that close, guys. 17%, and then 14% for a goose. So we're almost as bad as a fucking goose. Fuck you, dude. No way, dude. And to be completely honest, I don't think we should be that close to an ostrich. Ostriches are that's a willing opponent. If they're not a willing opponent, what's the word? A willing adversary. It's a challenge. That's what I'm trying to say. I see what happens when I try to overstep my vocal boundaries. I don't it doesn't go well. Horse is 33%. Maybe I don't understand the breakdown exactly, but so people apparently have just a touch more faith in crocodiles and alligators. Yeah, they brought that up too. So most people are similarly skeptical about their own personal chances of besting animals and hand-to-hand or paw, tooth, talon, etc. combat. Of all 1,224 survey participants, 72% think they could defeat a rat. A majority, sure, but about 208 people, 17%, think the rat would beat them. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? That has to be. They have to be joking. That's crazy. People actually think they could get beat up by a rat. So think the rat would beat them. The other 11% answered that they simply didn't know. You don't know if you could defeat a rat, an unarmed human against a rat. You don't know if you could defeat them. They must have thought that you literally meant they had no arms. That must have been the fact. It can't be anything else than that. They can't be that stupid. Oh my goodness. Just 61% feel confident about winning against a goose. Oh yeah. And a mere 30% think they could take on an eagle. That should be higher, guys. Man is smarter than animal. Jesus. Considering our lack of venom, sharp claws, and other built-in weapons, not to mention that we have little to no practice fighting wild animals with our bare hands, the doubtfulness expressed in this survey seems logical, but not everyone was so unsure. A full 8% of the 1,224 participants, which works out to be 98 people, think that they'd come out on top against a gorilla, an elephant, or a lion. And about 73 people, 6%, think they'd win against a grizzly bear. Wow. Okay, so 6% 6% of Americans think they could beat a grizzly bear in a fight. Wow. And also 8% think lion, elephant, crocodile, wolf. Wolf is just a big dog, man. And okay, so that's the key. See, wolf is a tricky son of a bitch, right? So a wolf, you're like, yeah, I want to fight that wolf, right? This wolf right here. But wolf likes to play little games, likes to play little fucking posse tricks where he goes like, "Oh yeah, you're just gonna fight me, but all my boys are gonna come in and start biting your ass as soon as you face me." You got like so hyena's on here as well. Hyena was on the other list. Hyena's another one like that, where he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, come fight me over here," and then all the other sons of bitches are gonna come in and start biting you in the heels or Achilles. Fuck that. What else is on here? Large dog. So okay, so this is the confusing part. This is what I don't understand. Large dog. 23% think that they of Americans think that they could defeat a large dog in a fight, but only 12% think that they could defeat a wolf. Which, guys, I don't know if you know this, is a large dog. That's a large dog. Is there okay? They can't be that close, right? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Dogs versus wolves size. Uh Size differences. Okay, so but the average dog probably weighs about 30 to 50 pounds, Wolves, on the other hand, are usually larger. Even the smallest of gray wolves usually weigh about 50 to 75 pounds. The largest examples may exceed 175 pounds in weight. Wolves are also taller and longer than most dogs. So taller and longer, that means longer limbs, guys. Easier for snapping. You know, if you break a dog's leg, it hurts almost probably as bad as if you break a wolf's leg. And it didn't say anything in there about them having stronger bones. So longer legs, easier for snapping. Snap that dog's leg. Classic yipe. And then off they go with all their buddies. Because they're going to like, this son of a bitch is breaking arms. I'm out. Are they arms or feet? Or arms or legs? Who knows? Medium-sized dog, 49%. It jumps up to 49%. I don't understand why it's so incredible that people couldn't defeat an eagle. Again, an eagle is like 98% feathers. Fuck you. House cat, 69% think they could. I think that was just a joke. 69% think they could get house pussy, bro. 72%. That is shockingly low. Surely you could beat a rat, right? Like, honestly, pound off, guys. Do you think you could actually not? Do you think the only way, like, unless this was like chemical warfare, like the rat gives you like rabies or some shit or some kind of fucked up disease? It's worth noting that this survey, or that the survey was not ascertaining whether people think they could survive an attack by an animal. It asked specifically about beating the animal in a fight. That's why I love this article. In other words, not a not insignificant number of regular random people think they somehow could incapacitate a literal lion or a grizzly bear with nothing but their bodies. I'm gonna say right now that I would assume that those people probably train either wrestling or jujitsu or some kind of martial art where they feel like they understand combat more than a lion or something like that. But there's no way. If you're one of those people, our question is simply how, or our question is simple: how? Well, I mean, put out another fucking survey. If this was like a yes or no, so again, mentalfloss.com, check that out. The link will be in the description there. I cannot believe that. I can't believe how many. So obviously, it was pointed out. I don't think. I mean, I'd like to know how many, like, where these people were polled, who, how old, like that's. But 1,224 people, a strong percent of those people think that they would, not even a strong percent, too strong in my opinion, almost a fourth, actually more than a fourth, are not sure if they would defeat a rat in a fight. That's what kind of rats are you seeing? Like, are they showing them Are they thinking nutria? This is the same way. This is the same way. The feeling I get when I watch what's it called? Family Feud. Anytime I watch Family Feud, I get this feeling of like, who the fuck are you talking to? Who is actually saying, like, I mean, obviously they have to change the wording. I think a lot of times they can't always have it be, they probably say like, oh, probably dick, but they go like, whoopee, or he's making whoopee, stuff like that when they say sex. I don't know. But this is the same thing where like, it's not so astonishing. I look, a full size lion. That's why I always make the stipulation anytime we play pet versus animal. I say it's got to be at least, just for fairness, it's got to be pat size or smaller. It can be my height, weight, whatever, that kind of thing. But a fucking, like, a rat, it's not even like, I don't even know if a rat would fight you. So I guess maybe that's what people are thinking of. Maybe that small percentage of people has actually seen a rat fight and knows like, hey, if a rat's like coming at me and it's like wants to fight the shit out of me, yeah, I'm not going to. I probably would get like, because I'm terrified of rats, and if I've seen them aggressive and they get really bad, they'll definitely fuck me up big time. So maybe, who knows? But if it's a matter of just like there's a rat in the room, Pat, you need to defeat it in a fight, then I don't know if that's ever gonna. I don't know if I would ever doubt myself in that case. But once you doubt yourself, that's when you go down, guys. That's when you lose the fight. If you think you're gonna lose a fight to a rat, you've already lost the fight, guys. Got to stay up here. Rats, I don't think they have that. It's the awareness. I don't know. I was just pointing to my head. They don't have heads usually. When I see them, I want to say like it's so funny. I'm like I'm not a. It seems like I'm like worried of offending rats, but I'm saying like in the sense that like they're dumb enough to eat food off of a killer device. True, they don't see. That's what I'm saying is you have the advantage of knowing about things like that. You're unarmed, sure, when the fight starts, but doesn't mean you can't grab a stick. We got to know what's the venue for these fights. I'm always interested in where are we having the actual altercation? Are we doing it in their domain? Like, is it if I'm fighting a crocodile, right? If I'm fighting a crocodile on land, I'm not nearly as worried as I am fighting a crocodile in the water. So you got to clarify. I would be a person that they asked for the survey and then quickly asked me to give them back the packet and say, you know what, we're gonna go somewhere else because I didn't see shark in there. So I would have to assume that we're like, it's me against the animal in a cage of some sort, like maybe a Hell in a Cell match. If it's Hell in a Cell, then yeah, I'm obviously a little bit more worried because there is no escape. But I'm not looking to escape. I'm looking to defeat the animal, and only one may leave. Two things enter, two species enter, one species leaves. I say, okay, so here we go. Here's my pitch. Here it is, right here. A Noah's Ark of animals, but only one each, right? One animal each, and we have a kumite out in the international waters. We find out who's number one. We don't speculate anymore. Instead of going like, well, you can't you can't really do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can haul a fucking alligator, crocodile, a gorilla, a lion, a jaguar. What's the other ones? Fuck, where'd it go? Where did the fucking article go? Of course, I closed it. But yeah, we can find all that shit. A hippo, an elephant, a rhino, eagle. How the fuck are you gonna get an eagle to fight an elephant? Who would win that? I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily like I think there's gonna be some that are just a wash. There's gonna be some that are like a split decision. Not a split decision, but like a draw. You know? Like an eagle comes down to attack an elephant, and then the elephant's like, "Ugh," and then it hits itself, right? But I don't think an eagle is smart enough to like use that strategy. That's where I'm talking about it, guys. So you're smarter than an elephant. So if an elephant's ornery at you, you just got to get up on it and get it somehow to just punch itself out. Everything needs air, guys. There's so many that nobody's talking about turtles either. I got my strategy to defeat all the turtles, fish. Nobody talked about an orca. Orca's goddamn alpha male. I think an orca definitely fucks a fucking elephant up. Are you kidding me? Because the orca has the brain and has that thing of like, oh, I'm going to learn how to kill this thing, and then I'm going to do it in the most efficient way, so as to save some meat for me and my bros. That's why orcas are definitely the number one. That's the only true, aside from man himself, the only true enemy of the man is the orca. Because if climate change continues and sea levels rise, eventually this will be a water world scenario, and it's not Dennis Hopper we're going to have to look out for. No, no, no. It's Tillicum, and it's all the rest of them. All the blackfish. They're going to kill the shit out of everybody, except for that one boat, the Sea Shepherd. Sea Shepherd, they're going to be like, you're cool. Everybody else, you're fucking dead. And they're going to have fun with it. They have a lot of fun hunting seals. Have you ever seen that video of there's like the ice, there's an ice, I was going to say iceberg, but it's like a sheet of ice, goddamn seal on it. And the orcas all swim together up near the surface to make a wave it's heartbreaking in the sense of like, oh my God, that poor terrified seal is done for. But that's the kind of smarts that I'm talking about. So like, I don't think an eagle intelligently, unless it was like, you have to get an eagle mad at an elephant, and you have to get the elephant mad at the eagle, and you have to get them to think that they're equal enough threat to need to destroy the other one. And that's why Pat versus animal is a thing, is because I think I'm that animal. I'm that animal that has that dumb animalistic rage, but also the reasoning of a human of saying like, how would I defeat an elephant? How would I defeat a bear? And everybody's thinking like, oh, I could outpower them. I'm stronger than that. No, I'm not talking about punching a bear. I'm talking about outsmarting a bear, punching it in the balls. Bears have balls too, man. If it's a mama bear, you're in trouble. Sure. Didn't think about that. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just grab one of its babies. Use it for protection. If it kills its own baby, it'll be so heartbroken, it'll be distracted, and you leave. There you go. Then you come back with a gun. That's the thing, is people are deciding like, oh, you gotta, if we're talking about, oh, sure, who wins the battle? Sure. But who wins the war? Oh, you know who. It's the ones who go, all right, cool. I'm going to go to my car for a second. I'm going to be right back. Cool, you beat me, elephant. Thanks. I tapped, sure. But I'm going to come back with a gun, and I'm going to put your fucking tusk on a goddamn wall. That's why I feel like, number one, until goddamn orca take over, that's exactly what happens. It's the strangest thing. You never see an orca, like whales in general seem pretty gentle. You never really see a whale attack. There is that one instance where the one whale came up and like, I honestly feel accidentally fucking almost swallowed that lady's kayak whole. But either way, there's instances where they've collided, but that's really actually the only instance. I always wonder that. Anytime I see whale watching boats or people on like paddle boards and shit, that a killer whale will just swim up to it and just be like, hey, what's going on? And then just haul ass. Like, you have no idea. Maybe we're not delicious. Maybe they've tried us before. Maybe there's some kind of thing. There's definitely some kind of answer to where did orcas evolve from? I think I've done this before. I feel like I've asked this before of Google, but I don't know if I've actually. Let's see. What did orcas evolve from? Orcas evolved from a small deer-like species that roamed the earth more than 50 million years ago. They are among the most formidable animals in the ocean. I know that. Pack hunting creatures that feed on everything from salmon to blue whales. Holy shit. I didn't know they fed on that. Excuse me. Did killer whales evolve from wolves? Jesus. The researchers compared genomes of killer whales, walruses, and manatees with other dogs, or with those of dogs, cows, and elephants. The findings suggest that walruses and seals share a common ancestor with modern wolves and dogs, while orca evolved from a shared ancestor with a more docile cow. Interesting. And what did whales descend from? Scientists since Darwin have known that whales are mammals whose ancestors walked on land. And in the past 15 years, researchers led by Dr. Thewison, it looks like, have identified a series of intermediate fossils documenting whales' dramatic evolutionary transition from land to sea. Mm-hmm. Did dolphins ever land animals? That's a real question. Did dolphins ever land animals? Let's find out. Fossil remains show dolphins and whales were four-footed land animals about 50 million years ago and share the same common ancestor as hippos and deer. They're given a new animal every time. Scientists believe that they are later. So that's what it is. So if a hippo got fit as fuck, it would be a dolphin. That makes way more sense than the other thing, than a fucking orca being a deer. But they just hunt like wolves, which we all know now, guys, are just long dogs. They're not large dogs; they're long dogs. I have to drink some water. Hold on a second. I've been talking too damn much. Don't forget. Don't forget you can join the show. 717-559-2971. And you can also talk as well about whales or fighting. What do you feel like you could actually defeat an animal? I mean, like, any of that stuff feel like there was things on the list that feel like there is no way you feel that inadequate against a mouse or a rat, sorry. And there's no way that you can feel that confident against a lion. But if they're all just people, they're people either that I most likely fight for a living, do drugs, or all of the above. Who knows? Um, but it has been a while since we did this, so I wanted to get into a little thing that we have done in the past. There it is. And usually we were going to try it in the earlier parts of the show, but I had so much that I wanted to catch on. I feel like I've been rambling for sure, but there was so much I wanted to catch up on from the weekend. I wanted to catch you guys up on why I wasn't here Monday and show you all of the love and respect that you deserve. But I can't do that unless I read a little bit more out loud and I try a brand new word of the day. Maybe. All right. So that's word of the day. I write it down pretty much every time. Like, I almost always have a word of the day prepared just in case there is a need for it. And today, with all of the reading that I've done, there's definitely a solid need for me to go back to learning words because I don't know what they mean or are anymore. And just from how many times I stuttered just reading that goddamn any of those articles, I did pretty well. But it feels like the old Pat. I want new Pat energy here. You know what I mean? So today's word of the day is in a different browser. There it is. It is spelled APLOMB. So couple of trip ups here, couple of doozies, right? I know the MB is like for like comb, like you don't say the B. So I'm gonna say that's a silent B. So that's I'm working backwards on this one. I'm gonna start at the end of the word and go backwards. But APLOMB. And I'm gonna just say I'm pretty sure it's aplomb. Aplomb? 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 Let's find out if I'm right. Hold on. Aplomb. APLOMB. No, but you don't say the B. So why would you have it there? Just saying. It would still be aplomb, I think, without the B. Also, I will say that. Full transparency, guys. I'm pretty sure this would still be a plum even without the B, but they got to be on there. I'm pretty sure you're not going to say it, but I don't know. Let's find out. Come on now. Here we go.
A plum.
Nailed it. I said it a lot with a lot more enthusiasm. One more time.
A plum.
A plum. A plum. It is it's a noun. It's from it's French from the late 18th century, excuse me. It looks like it means self-confidence or assurance, especially when in a demanding situation. So when you're in a demanding situation, you have a lot of self-confidence or assurance. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if I'm a plum, but examples of a plum in a sentence. Does the B do that? Maybe does the B add the m? He didn't put an A because he said it weird, right? He doesn't say
a plum.
Maybe not.
A plum.
A plum. A plum. He's got to pronounce it that way. I get it. It's not like me where I can just say anything I want, all willy nilly. The lead actor recovered with such aplomb that the audience forgot he had tripped on stage moments before. Now, I fucking nailed that. I felt pretty aplomb just now. Now, the second example here says, I think I could pull. Oh, God damn it. Damn it. Got me. I think I could pull off that outfit with aplomb. I think that aplomb colored top goes really well with those aplomb colored. It's just you're aplomb colored. Aplomb. I don't like it. I'm not gonna. Oh, look at this! Holy shit! They added more about aplomb. This word developed to mean perpendicularity, steadiness. Jesus Christ! From the French term aplomb or aplomb. Did you know? Okay, so here we go. Aplomb partially comes from the French word aplomb, or according to a plumb line. But what is a plumb line? With origins that can be traced back to ancient Egypt, a plumb bob is a line with a pointed weight, usually made of brass or steel, affixed to the end. When the weight is dangled, it creates a vertical line known as a plumb line, which is used by architects, builders, and engineers as a vertical reference point. While plumb bobs are still used in their original form, there is more efficient update often used in its place. Wow, a laser level which can project both vertical and horizontal hand lines. Wow, that's really cool. A plumb line. Holy shit. So it's actually so I don't know if all the words have that extra little ditty at the end, but holy shit. And I'm getting a robocall from a 666 number. That's pretty cool too. That's a pretty solid way to end the show. But it's been nice. I hope that hopefully tonight, I don't know for sure if it's going to happen or not, but maybe we'll catch up tonight. I actually, either way, I'm going to try to get a day of when we're actually planning to get together and recording again. But we're going to do What About with Andy and Pat. Look for the top 5 songs that make you feel. I'm going to actually probably have that playlist as well in the comments if you want to check that out ahead of time to get a little refresher or a little sneak peek of what. Actually, you know what? I'll put my honorable mentions because I had a ton. Andy didn't have an honorable mention playlist yet ready, so I don't know what that was. But in all of the driving that we did all over the weekend, Dom and I were able to go over his playlist, and Dom was singing quite a few of those songs. So I know that there's a couple slappy boppers on there. So maybe check that out at Andy Malafarina's YouTube page or my YouTube page as well. You can check that out. The playlist, What About with Pat and Andy, or you can check out Falls Count Anywhere with Youngblood and Manny. That's Youngblood. That's Manny. Talking about wrestling with Wes, and or check out past guest Ian Strong on there, or his podcast, which is audio only, Strong Words with Ian Strong. What else? Hacks season 2 is coming out soon. Hacks season 1, you can catch up on Instagram. I believe, and or here on YouTube. And make sure that you are subscribed to the page so that you get notifications every time I go live, as well as anytime there's a new video that's out, it can show up on your feed. And that way you don't have to worry about clicking on the Facebook thing or saying, oh, yeah, send me a link or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to go get something to eat, and I'm going to love you guys all forever. I love you all, and make sure you subscribe, like, and share.